I have this antique vise I'm trying to save in my milling machine. And if you know anything about milling machines, you can tell I'm not a machinist right away because this milling machine's a big piece of junk. Certainly not really a milling machine. It's more of a really good drill press. So the way I'm doing this is using the quill and plunging and advancing and plunging, which doesn't really make any sense, except that this machine has no strength when you push on it sideways like you would normally do with a mill. You would normally machine this in this direction, back and forth, but the whole head of this thing swivels. So if you push on it that way, the head just swivels. It's garbage. So I'm pushing down because it's very strong in that direction, and then I'm going to clean this up going in this direction, which is pushing into the head, which is the strongest way this mill will work. So this is not how you're supposed to machine, but this is how you have to machine when your budget provides to you a junk milling machine. Alright, I think that's plenty good enough for my new vise jaw. Somebody welded the jaws on this vise, so I'm gonna silicon bronze weld these jaws on the vise, just kind of as an experiment. You can't buy these anymore. They're just not the same. These jaws are not lining up very well. I'm going to need to machine the front jaw. Okay, I got a bit of a reference mark with the vise together so I could get the jaw in the mill by itself. There was way too much leverage on things, I couldn't keep it still. So let's try this. That clamps in there a lot better now. I'll just have to do a little bit of welding. Pro Pulse 200, silicon bronze wire, 100% argon. we're running the silicon bronze 030 100% argon pulse program. I'm going to try to weld these mild steel jaws to this cast iron vise with no preheat. I've never done this before. This will be an excellent experiment because I'll be able to strain it and see if it's a good idea, but also if it fails, it doesn't really matter. Well, I don't know how well it stuck to the cast, but it's on there. Okay, so you might ask yourself, why did I go to so much bother on an old crappy vise? Well, you can't buy a vise like this anymore. Made in USA, weighs about 165 pounds. But what's interesting about this vise is the rear jaw swivels. Take this pin out, and this jaw is supposed to swivel back and forth to grab something tapered. Right now the jaw is still stuck. I'm still working on that. Alright, so I beat on it with a hammer just to see what was going to happen, and it did come off. But it looks like it actually took a little bit of cast with it. So it was actually stuck on there pretty well. This one was interesting. It either broke the silicon bronze. You see there the silicon bronze sheared, or up here it actually took a little bit of cast away with it. You can see the cast is broken there. So it does work. The heat didn't seem to bother the cast any, because I really didn't put that much heat into it. Okay, there it is re-welded. I mean, it's not certainly not perfect, but I can use this vise until I figure out something better. So if anybody has a good idea about how to get this vise unstuck, how to get this jaw freed up, leave me a comment.